Are you ready for this? Price Pritchett asks us. The change that he's talking about is exponential. It will make an exponential difference in our lives. Price Pritchett is one of the most important and famous people in all the world in change management. The type of change he's talking about is his little book called U², which he teaches around the world. His issue is for us to try something different when we want to change. Listen to what he says regarding change. Now, for many Americans, we simply fight change. But think about this. Your day is spent going to work, 8 to 9 hours. Then you come home. We usually slump in front of the television. We get lost on video games. We get lost on social media for 7 to 8 hours. Then we sleep. The French call it, they say it's sleep, subway, work. Work, subway, sleep. Repeat and rinse. Rinse and repeat, however you look at it. And many of us are caught up in that cycle. But what Price Pritchett is telling us, the mindset of change, look inside at what pulls at your consciousness. For there you'll find direction, says Dr. Price Pritchett. Your dreams, your desires, the thoughts that burn the hottest in your mind point the way to a new breakthrough. Now, I know this to be true, and I know what it takes to change because I lived in New York for 29 years. I had 40 acres, 3 houses. I had a French-themed bed and breakfast. I was still selling French wine and other imports. And I literally woke up one morning and said, I can't do this any longer. And what was pulling at my heartstrings was a change in my lifestyle. I was reaching 60s. I thought, well, I have to be in a place where I can bike all the time. It had to be flat because I'm a hill climber and my knees were not happy with that. And I want to swim. I want to be able to swim 365 days a week if I feel like it. And that idea, what was burning at my heart, propelled me to Florida. I am lucky enough during the pandemic to create a new career as a podcaster. I also teach online speaking. And what Price Pritchett teaches us is many of us have such potential. He says to us, open your gifts. Now, I'm going to show you on the podcast, there are 2 videos I want you folks to watch. One is Simone Biles. Yes, she's an Olympic winner, but she grew up in a foster home. Loving parents, but she didn't grow up in a gymnast family. She didn't grow up with a lot of athletes. But after 2 years, she has come back and she's killing it. She is still doing these flips in the air that defy logic. And it's because she has this inside of her. Price Pritchett says opportunities are not out there waiting for us. We create our opportunities. And that's what Simone Biles is doing with her gymnastic amazing feats. Also included a video on C.G. Abrams, who does this in baseball, does this amazing catch where he's really flying horizontal to make a catch about 2 feet off the air. It's astounding. Yes, these are athletes, but the point is it's in them, and we all have this inside of us. We all have potential. In Price Pritchett's book, U², he talks about we all have this potential that we have barely touched the surface of what we're all capable of. And I stress again that yes, we work 8 to 9 hours a day, but then you come home and because perhaps we're disgusted with our life, we still have that other time to make another part of our life to be a big dream for us. So that if you do have that job that you absolutely hate, you can have another career, so to speak, that eventually you can move into, something you would love, that's pulling at your heartstrings, as Price Pritchett says. Bob Proctor says that many of us go to our grave with the music still in us, and it's not going to happen to me. One of the main reasons I'm doing these virtual classes and the virtual podcast is because I have a huge dream that I don't share with anybody. That's the other thing. When you start having your huge dream, tell No one. Oh, check out his book. He has an audio book. They're all audio purchases. Check out the books. You can listen to them while you're doing laundry. You can listen to them while you're biking. You can listen to them instead of television. No, change, the mindset of change is fun. So do it and start listening to Pritchett. Kundalini Yoga. There's a Kriya that I included. It's an online course. It is with a company called SeekNet. It's a guy this time, not one of my female teachers. It's actually called Acupuncture for Your Brain. How cool is that? It specifically talks about de-stressing from social media. He talks about, Instagram, now it's called X, Twitter, Facebook, all these crazy social medias that we think we have to spend hours on nowadays. He talks about this Kriya and how it specifically will help you remove yourself from this kind of stress. And it will help you with the mindset of change, finding your exponential gifts so that you can open them every day and start applying your potential, your highest potential to what you would really, really, really love. So try that Kriya. It's literally called Acupuncture for the Brain. Lastly, talk about change in the wine industry. Ooh la la. The French have recognized that they have to make some huge changes also. What is really sad about what they have to do, they literally have to get rid of, I think, 80 million tons of wine because the young folk are not drinking fine wines any longer. They're not even drinking wines from Languedoc. The French have decided to help the farmers turn the wine into, hand sanitizer, some kind of cleaner. It's not going to be, they're just going to turn it into another product besides wine. This is change. This is change. So if the French can do something that's heartbreaking but necessary, we all can find something that we would really love so that we don't get heartbroken because we're not going to change. Read the article. It's earth-shattering for someone who's sold French wine for 26 years. I also put on the podcast details, one of my favorite importers is T. Edward Wines. You can go through their portfolio and look at some of their wines, see if something looks interesting to you. Text me, send me an email. I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn, not Facebook. And if you want to find a specific wine, I am more than happy to do this. I do this out of the generosity of my heart. I'm not looking to get business from helping people find good wines and enjoy them. I put on the podcast details. Spain is a good country right now to start exploring because their reds are not so big and heavy in alcohol as our California wines are. It's a perfect change into the fall season. Now it stays summer almost all the time here. We are getting cooler weather in Florida. However, for those of you who live a little further north and you're looking for some wines that would move you into the fall. Spanish wines also, the reds, it doesn't matter what region. I happen to like Bilbao because their wines are made from really, really cool grapes. Galicia is usually the predominant wine region that I prefer. But their wines go with Mediterranean-style foods. You usually do not have heavy foods from Spain, very Mediterranean, a lot of olives, a lot of tomatoes, your lighter meats. They love fish, and their red wines actually do go with fish as long as you're not doing a huge, heavy Rioja or some of their other heavier wines. To wrap this up, the mindset of change is good for us. Remember, 24 hours a day. You've got 8 where you can start working on something that you would really, really, really love to do in your life. And Pritchett has seen it a million times that we have potential that we have barely tapped. And as he says, open your gifts. Simone Biles, she's opening her gifts every minute of the day. And she practices 9 to 10 hours a day. C.J. Abrams, just a great baseball player. You got to watch him. You got to watch his video twice because they do an up-close panorama of him flying horizontally 2 feet off the ground to make a catch. These are gifts, but they open them, and we have them too. Practice that Kriya. If you're finding yourself going down the rabbit hole with social media or anything else, maybe it's television, maybe it's Netflix, practice this Kriya because it will help you wean yourself from things that are not doing you any good in a happy life. Certainly check out Spanish wines. If you look at T. Edward Wine's profile, their portfolio, you see something you know nothing about and you want some more information, you can certainly reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with any kinds of wine tasting. I'm Valerie Hale. I create this podcast once a week, and it's to help people change their mindset. Remember, thoughts become things, so choose the good ones. And I'm here to help you change the negative into your gifts. Merci et au revoir.